Greetings all of you. You call me Ninjagatsu, and welcome here to an update on character buffs. So, Akainu, don't care about him. When I have him, I'll care about that buff. Ace, better stats, increased attack speed, distance, and number. That's a new one. So, his attack number gets increased on his different steps. So skill 1, it's faster, has a better distance, better evasion timing, meaning it'll end faster. You can dodge faster. A flame is now very long. Skill 2, that gets better. Makes it easier to hit criticals. Not sure what that means. Ignores damage reduction, and it has a very long flame and better cooldown. Traits, he gets a one-time revive. His skill 1, his crit has now moved to his skill 1, and he gets a defense boost. When critical occurs, recover HP. Skill 2, when HP is low, that's not really the best, but, you know. Hina, better attacks, faster attack activation, range, ignores damage reduction on skill 1. Skill 2 got updated. Now when she's attacked, she has a chance to inflict bind and her chances are better. When HP is 90% or more, she recovers the treasure 50% past its maximum amount and gets an extra 50% damage reduction. She removes parameter buffs, and she gets better HP recovery and better damage and better skill 2 cooldown when she's in her team's treasure area. Thank you, editing. Soba mask. His invisibility gets better with the speed increased and at cooldown that's actually relevant. His shield now has twice as much HP on it. His skill 2 got updated so it's harder to interrupt. When he's invisible, he can ignore and capture, and when he captures, he gets a defense boost up to 50%. Recover durability of defensive shield by 50% whenever he does a perfect dodge. When his team has less treasure, his skill 1 gets a huge cooldown boost, and his dodge. You know I'll be testing that out. Time to test him out in survival with no medals attached. So let's see exactly. That is a huge range bonus, and now I see what attack number means. He now shoots from both hands. And that is a pretty far distance for a long-range normal attack. That goes as far as some skills do. We can see that his heals are already popping off. Whoa, that is a lot faster. But the range actually doesn't look that impressive. I think his normal attacks actually have a better range than his skill 1. His normal attack speed doesn't seem to have increased that much. His skill 2 is enormous now and almost instant. Now that his crit has been moved to his skill 1, he's going to get heals a lot easier because he does that every time he hits a critical, and also he's going to get skill 2 cooldown, which is going to be the main thing you're going to use to KO enemies. Combos after normal attack 3 got deconfirmed there. And there's normal 2 into normal 2 not being a combo as well. The Ace bot got buffed. Let's see if it's just as easy to sidestep everything. His normals will still miss if you're close to him walking around in a circle, but his skills will not. Hina also got a buff. And a voice. Let's try her out. That didn't feel too different at first, but now I can see that it's definitely spread out a bit more, so it does cover a larger range. About twice the distance, I think. As for her normal attacks, it looks like there's a wind effect added, so it's just slightly longer. For example, I don't think that one would have hit before. Her skill 2 is massive now. When an enemy attacks her, she has a chance to inflict bind. A very low chance, and she also recovers HP when that happens. So whenever she inflicts bind, she recovers HP, and that can happen when she hits an attack, which could also just be a skill. So her skill 1 does have a chance to inflict bind, and so does her normal attacks, and her skill 2 does that by default. As for frame data, I don't specifically feel that much of a change, other than it's easier to dodge afterwards, just slightly. But not enough to affect her combos, I think. Normal attack 1 does not combo unless it inflicts bind, and the rest of her combos should still work normally. Let's try her out in a bot fight on solo mode. And on everyone's favorite map, Alabasta Night. As you can see, she gets her skill 2 back really quickly while she's in her treasure area. And also, the treasure recovers up to 150%, but that's as long as her HP is over 90%. Because now that her HP is lower, that's not gonna happen. Not until she recovers some HP or something. Soba mask. I really am curious about that skill 2 range. And he looks like a rocket while doing it now. His normal attacks feel less bouncy in a good way because now he can act faster out of them. And his perfect dodge fills up his shield now, and when he's invisible, he gets to ignore and cap. Let's test him out in solo mode. Let's see if that skill 2 lets him get to the middle treasure much faster. Doesn't really feel like it. Now let's test out that invisibility. You can see a bit of a difference in his skill 1 cooldown, depending on if your team has more or less treasure. And you get the normal amount of cooldown when you capture treasure. And these tornadoes ignore your shield and do not damage them. Now let's try him with some dodge and skill 1 cooldown for when his team has less treasure and when he's alone in the treasure. So let's just boost those cooldowns to their max with these medals, or as high as I could think of getting them. He gets his dodge back really quickly, but I don't quite think it's going to be the same as a free dodge cooldown when you do a perfect dodge. I think there's still just a slight area of vulnerability before that. And his skill 1 is already back again. Now we're going to push the cooldown difference for Hina to the max with skill 2 cooldown medals. As you can see, there's an immediate difference as soon as I leave the treasure and go back into it. And when her passive cooldown for skill 2 is pushed to its max, this is how fast you get it back. Thank you all for watching. Until next time.